What's going on YouTube? The Apophis here and welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, and if you're unfamiliar with this series, this is a series where I take questions or comments from you, the viewers and subscribers, and I offer you my advice, my take on your situations. Now, if I don't have questions from the viewers, I come up with topics that revolve around life decisions, life events, things of that nature. Just something that might be able to help you along your journey in life, and I talk about those. I typically only talk about things that I feel like I have a fair amount of knowledge on, because I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction. Keep in mind, this is just my take on things. If it doesn't sit well with you, that is perfectly acceptable. You are entitled to your own opinion, and I encourage you to formulate your own opinion. Do not take my word as the end-all be-all. Do research, talk to more people, come up with something that works for you. This is just my little slice of the pie that you should be looking at to help you make decisions such as the one that I'm going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today is life decisions. What are you going to do with your life? What do you want to be when you grow up? And I think this is a very, very important topic given the age group that the viewership is for Call of Duty videos on YouTube. A lot of you guys are middle school to early college age, and you might very well be under a lot of pressure right now to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And I know I was. Everybody was pushing me, oh, you should go to college, you should do this, you should do that. I already had my mind made up, and that was the military for me. Although I'm no longer doing it, like, my decision was easy. But after the military, my decision was no longer easy. I had to figure out what to do with my life. And because I was never really forced to think about it as a child, I had no idea. It took me three to 4 years to really figure out what I want to do with my time and what I actually want to go to school for. It also took me 3 different attempts at college to finally figure out what I want. So let's talk about this a little bit. First and foremost, you're probably young. There's no reason to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life while you're a freshman in high school, for example. You have so many years ahead of you to figure out what exactly you want to do. I think that parents and teachers put unnecessary pressure on students to decide that young. Like, I was in a rare situation. When I was 14, my mind was made up, and I went and I did that. But man, to say you need to decide if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer when you're 14? Come on, really? You do so much growing between the ages of 20 and 25. You learn so much about yourself and so much about life. And just once you move out of the house, really, you start to really just learn life in general. And I think that is the time where you should be spending your efforts deciding if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Think about how much effort it takes to become a doctor or a lawyer or any other, like, super prestigious profession, I'll call it. Not that other things aren't prestigious, but there's a lot of pressure on people to do the whole doctor lawyer thing. And at such a young age, man, that is a commitment that is unheard of, and it adds a lot of pressure to you guys as young people, young students, young individuals. It's just an unnecessary amount of stress that you don't need. So, what should you do when you grow up? For me, I'd wait, man. Ride it out. Maybe go to college, pound out your first 2 years, get your GE out of the way, because no matter what you do, you're pretty much going to have to do the same GE. And take those 2 years after high school to maybe think about it and figure it out. Now, if you've already got that all figured out, you already know exactly what you want to do, then excellent. More power to you, and you need to run with it and go and do it. You need to do that because obviously it is a passion of yours if you've already got it all figured out. So run with it. But most of you guys, and hell, even me, I didn't really have too much figured out. And when I say even me on this topic, that, like, when I got out of the military, let me give you my story. When I got out of the military, I went to college. I was like, oh, I'm going to go get a degree in business. At first, before I even did that, I wanted to be a financial advisor. And I was like, oh, I'll just go be a financial advisor. You don't even need school for that. Just a couple certifications and stuff. Turned out that's not what I wanted to do. I did that. I started looking into that and realized that's not for me. So I went to college for business. really, I didn't go to college, man. I went and golfed instead, and um, I don't know, just something about all the business related stuff just did not interest me one bit once I started, getting into it. So I stopped going to college and was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Well, selling insurance sounds like a good idea. So I got a life insurance license in California, and I went to work for an insurance firm and realized that that is a very, very dirty business. As far, at least what we were doing, we were exploiting people that were retired, and I didn't agree with that on a moral standpoint. So I was like, no, I can't sell insurance. I was like, let me go to culinary school. I really, really thoroughly enjoy cooking, and I still do. I went to culinary school for a little over a year, and then I realized every one of my instructors were chefs at one point in time in their life, and they were angry. First and foremost, not very many of them were super old. They were in their late 50s, early 60s tops, but they looked like they'd been hit by 7 trains, and they were always mad and upset. And I decided, hey, that's not the life for me, man. I don't want to be that old and that run down and just that discontent with life. So I stopped culinary school and I took some time off. And then I recently went back to school and I was like, oh, I'm going to go be an IT guy. I want to go get a degree in information technology. Computers is really what I want to be around. And now I've finally figured it out. It took me till I was 25 after I got done with my military service to really figure out what my true passion was. And being around computers is a passion, and doing this YouTube thing is a passion. But I can't bank on YouTube being a career, so I gotta find my fallback, which is gonna be IT. And just doing all of that network stuff has been a whole lot of fun for me. It's been a blast, and I look forward to learning it every day. But the moral of that story is it took me until I was 25 to figure that out. It took me 3 or 4 failed attempts to figure that out. So for you to have to figure that out at this age is not so easy. It's not, I don't think it's right. Now, ways to help you what the hell am I doing by that car? Ways to help you figure out what you might want to do with your life, because I'm sure you're under the pressure. The easiest thing, or the easiest way to figure out maybe what's right for you is to figure out what's not right for you. I did that the hard way, right? I did that the long way. I did all this trial and error stuff. Oh, and I sold knives door to door too, man. I did all kinds of weird shit. But it's like I did all these things only to find out that they're not for me. So if you could sit down and maybe, weed out a list of professions or a list of directions to take your life that for a fact aren't for you, that's going to narrow down your list when the time comes to actually pick the one that is for you. And you might even figure out what is for you by going over what's not for you. Typically, if selling insurance is not for you, then you know that sales is not for you. But if sales isn't for you, maybe, and you still like some of the aspects of sales, maybe stocks become for you, right? Because you're not really doing sales, but you're kind of managing the sales lifestyle a little bit. So maybe, and you're still helping people out. So maybe by weeding your list of things that aren't for you down, you're going to find the right thing for you. It's going to shed light on some other things. That can also help you in conversations with your parents, teachers, school counselors, things of that nature. You're like, look, at this point, I really don't know what I want to do. I have a lot of time still, and you really, truly do have a fair amount of time. As I said, you could get through 2 years of college before you even know what you want to do. I'd say, hey, look, I still got a lot of time to think about this. As far as what I really want to do or what I'm really going to choose to do, I don't know. But I've came up with a list of things that I definitely don't want to do. So maybe you can look over this list with me, and we can talk about a few of them and try to help guide me on a direction that maybe is right for me. If that makes sense, like have somebody else look at your list of no's, and maybe they're going to see the piece to the puzzle that is the yes, and that can help you out. Now, along with that, passion is, I think, the most important thing. Yeah, some jobs pay more. A lot of people go and they become doctors because of the pay and not so much because they have the passion to help people. Well, they're unhappy, man. And to me, happiness is the most important thing. Money will come if you enjoy your life. Like, you will find a way to make ends meet if you do the things that make you smile. If you can do the things that make other people smile, there will be a way for you to make ends meet. So if you have a strong passion for something, you need to seize it. You need to chase it. You need to go after it and do everything you need to do to hang on to it, and just trust and have faith in yourself that if you put in enough effort into your passion, that it's gonna find a way to make ends meet for you. It might not always be the easiest, you might not always be on a yacht, but you'll find a way. So, to sum it up real quick, because the gameplay's over, find your passion, make a list of things you don't want to do, and don't be pressured to figure it out at such a young age. You got a long life ahead of you. Alright guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you got something out of Wednesday's Words of Wisdom this week. I know it's not answering a fan's question. I didn't really get any this week. But if you want a chance for me to offer you advice, all you got to do is send me an inbox message with the subject Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, and I will fit it in my next episode. I answer everything that comes to me. Everything. You're always going to remain anonymous, and I don't know, you're going to get a response. You're going to get a response. Period. That is my thing, my case in point. I'm going to answer everything I possibly can, and right now I can possibly answer everything. Does that make sense? Alright, cool. Don't hesitate to send me messages. Also, if you don't want it on Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, just tell me, and I'll give you my advice anyway through a YouTube message or whatnot. Alright, now we're drawing this shit out, so let's close it out. 2 videos on the screen. Click them. They open in another window. Also, Commentator Showdown is going, baby. First episode went up yesterday. Make sure you head on over, check it out, vote for those guys, and check out today's episode as well. As always, follow me on Twitter, guys, to find out when I'm playing Black Ops, if I'm even playing Black Ops. Find out what's on my mind, how to talk to me. Hey, I have a lot of conversations with you fans over on Twitter, so if you just want to say hi, that's the place. Big yellow subscribe button, click it and you'll subscribe, and I'll love you even more. And as always, have a fantastic day. I hope you find a way to smile all day long, because that's the only thing that's important in life, is your happiness. And as always, the way I always close this thing out, remember, we all came from a star, so don't jump over cars, baby. Don't jump over cars.